Ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuning into New Wave Sports Radio.
I need a bookie to contact me, or I need to go to Vegas because I want to lay all the money I have on Ryan Tannehill being MVP of the 2021-2022 NFL season. I'm calling it right now. That man will win the MVP. And the Titans might just make it to the Super Bowl. I'm saying it now. We're recording.
It really might be the case. I'm not gonna disagree with you because, bro, that I don't think anybody expected that to happen.
What was already a pretty nasty offense just added arguably the best, and I think inarguably top 3 receiver in the league. Is there an argument against him being top 3? Can we name 3 receivers better than Julio Jones?
Nah, I don't think so, to be honest.
And what that means for A.J. Brown, what it means for their run game, what it means for, a guy like Ryan Tannehill, who we've known for a long time is a very, very, very good quarterback. I won't say he's a great quarterback, but he's a very good quarterback. But never, ever had any weapons. Soon as he gets to Tennessee, he starts balling out with what they already had. Now you're talking about a top 3, possibly the best receiver in the league. I mean, early candidate for MVP. I don't know what the odds are on that. They might honestly not even be that great because I don't think it's so far-fetched to think that he could have an MVP season, honestly. I'm putting it out there. Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I mean, nobody expected for him to have the season that he did last year, and obviously he came out swinging. And then now it's just he has more weapons there. Why not? Why wouldn't this be the year for him to? I mean, I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed, but this is probably the best chance of him ever winning MVP.
Best chance of him winning MVP, best chance they have, I think, at winning a Super Bowl. The man is going to be 33 by the time the season starts. That is not old at all for a quarterback.
Nah.
Not at all. I mean, when you see these guys retire, Ryan Fitzpatrick is about to be, 38 years old? 39? How old is Ryan Fitzpatrick? Obviously, Tom Brady's in his 40s doing it. Ryan Fitzpatrick's 38 years old. Yeah. Ryan Tannehill has some years left still. And I think, honestly, this might be the best year of his career. If it's not, he's going to get a lot of flack because there's no excuse as far as weapons go. You know what I mean?
Fact.
He's been doing well, and they just added another incredible weapon on offense. So if he doesn't ball out this year like crazy, then, I mean, yeah, this will be an example where it actually is most likely going to be his fault. So,
yeah, I mean, what else can you really ask for?
Nothing. No, he's got everything. Not to mention, we're talking about A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry, but they got Jonnu Smith still. I mean, they have plenty of other weapons. It's not just it's 2 receivers and a running back. The whole offense is good. So
exactly.
And they play in a division 2 with the Colts, Texans, and Jaguars. So, who's the competition there? The Colts? Texans with all the shit they got going on. The Jaguars, we'll see how Trevor Lawrence does, but they're in a good position. I think the Titans are to have a really good season. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I'm rooting for Tannehill. I'm rooting for my dog.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Titans. Wouldn't mind seeing the Titans do well. So.
Yeah, honestly, that's one team I say I don't have beef with.
We might even play them this year. Hold on. No, I don't think we do.
Did they release the actual schedule? I know they released who we're gonna play.
They did. I think they did release the schedule. Hold on. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull it up on the app.
Yep, here we go.
What parking are you doing this year? You still doing the yellow parking? And I might just do yellow parking this year.
Yeah, I have not changed my parking. I didn't change anything with my plan. I left it all the same.
We still
seat
can't
changes, nothing.
Yeah, you still can't buy orange parking, so I think I'm just gonna stick with, or I think I might just do yellow, just to make it easier. Because I was doing the thing before with the orange. I got to call the guy and
Yeah, and try
bust
to
those
figure out where he's
missions
gonna be.
every time, and sometimes he's not there, and I gotta text him on my way, and then I gotta call him when I'm there, and it's just a whole mess. Dolphins app got a little bit of an update, I see. Yeah, so the schedule's out. The schedule is out, and what do you know? We do play the AFC South this year. So we will be playing the Titans, but it will be an away game, week 17. That could be a good game. That could be a big game for both teams. That's like a playoff. We're fighting for playoff spots.
Let me see.
So we start off the season with at the Patriots, home against the Bills, at the Raiders, home against the Colts. We got a tough schedule this year. Seems like they have a tough schedule every single year.
Playing against the Bucks away. We got Jaguars away.
No, Jaguars is in London.
Oh my god.
That 9:30 game.
In Tottenham. Damn, 9:30 in the morning, bro. Yikes. What else do we have? Falcons. Well, without Julio Jones, it shouldn't be that big of an issue.
And they were ass last year with him, so they should be extra ass this year.
Yeah, I think we'll be chilling.
Although they have Kyle Pitts now, so.
Oh, yeah, that's true. After that, we got Bills away, which I'm not looking forward to. Texans, like you said, shouldn't be too difficult either with all the shit they got going on. We got Ravens here. That'll be a fun game.
Yeah, that's a Thursday night game.
Oh damn, is it?
Yeah.
Ooh, that Saturday is also gonna be the UMFSU game.
Oh really?
Which I might be making my way up there.
To Tallahassee, or
yeah,
is it here?
It's in Tallahassee.
Oh, so you a big Hurricane fan now, huh?
It's Kayla. Kayla signed her lease.
That's right. She's a Seminole, huh?
Facts, and I'm officially a Cane. I got into the extended program for the shit that I'm doing, so I'm
that would be a good trip to make.
Yeah, I gotta go represent now. I'm about to go.
Where did you get a Gridiron Studs shirt from?
From the West Pines field back in the day.
Back in the day? How back in the day?
Nah, not that far. It was like 20. It was probably like 2009, 2010.
Damn, that's back in that. My old football coach, that's him. He's like Gridiron Studs, like that's his company or whatever.
G?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it from it was from the little kiosk thing that they had at the field because my sister was cheerleading for West Pines. And my parents just came home one day with a shirt for me, and I was like, I guess.
All right. So yeah, NFL season going to be interesting. We'll talk more about that when it gets closer. Julio Jones, Tennessee Titans, that's going to be wild. But speaking of NFL wide receivers, an NFL wide receiver, one that we're a big fan of,
Facts.
made his boxing debut this past week. And of course, talking about Chad Johnson fighting against Brian Maxwell. Isn't there a singer named Brian Maxwell? And I'll start back at one.
No, it's Brian McKnight.
Brian McKnight. Oh, I'm thinking of Brian McKnight and Maxwell. Maxwell's a different guy.
No, they did you watch the fight?
So I missed the first two. I didn't realize when they said that shit was going to start at 8:00, they meant 8:00 on the dot. And I didn't know that fight was only going to be 4 rounds.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So I only saw rounds 3 and 4, which when I first saw it looked like he was getting his ass beat. But apparently he was holding his own in the first couple of rounds. I saw the clip where he actually rocked dude like early on in the fight in the first round.
Yeah.
But, that knockdown obviously didn't look good. But he didn't get knocked out. He stood back up. He finished the fight. And from what I've seen from the Twitter boxing experts, Chad Johnson won that fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, because a lot of people, especially like Desus and Miro, because they were the ones that were like the commentators for that fight.
Right.
Like excited at the end. It was like, nah, Ocho lost. Like, you see how he got knocked down and blah, blah. But like, I'm not going to say I'm a boxing expert, but I've been watching boxing since I can remember. And bro, from those first few rounds, like, I would say rounds 1 through 3, Ocho Cinco won that. Just based off of score and shit like that. Like if there was judges and they really had to pick a winner, he won the fight. I mean, obviously the 4th round goes to Brian Maxwell with the knockdown and obviously whatever, that's where it goes. But overall, the fight, no question, will go to Ocho Cinco.
And the other dude's like a fighter.
Yeah, I think so. Like apparently he had like one professional fight and then he lost, and then that was like his last opportunity to fight. So this was like him getting back into it.
But it's still pretty impressive for Chad Johnson, who's not a fighter, to, go 4 rounds and quite frankly win the fight.
Exactly.
And the knockdown is like, dude, the knockdown is probably just because he doesn't know any better about fighting. Like, if he was more experienced, he probably would understand, okay, and again, there's no winner or loser anyway, but he probably would have understood, like, I won this fight, like, don't expose yourself. Because the way he got knocked down was, like, kind of stupid. Like, he had been fighting well up until that point, and then he just slipped.
Yeah, what I was saying when that happened, like, obviously not to give an excuse for him, like, for getting knocked down, but in all honesty, like, what it looked like to me was that his momentum kind of just dropped him, because obviously it was a hard enough hit to like get him off his feet.
Right.
But I don't think if he was like planted, he would have went down. I think it was like him trying to get out the way, and he kind of just slipped, because as soon as he touched the mat, he got right back up immediately.
Yeah, he did.
He bounced right up and was just like, "Nah, I'm good."
You're right. I agree with you. I think that like if he was positioned differently, or maybe if he was closer to the rope, to the corner, like he might have like been able to catch himself. But I feel bad for him because he did so well. And like all you see on Twitter is him getting knocked down and people saying he got knocked out, he got his ass beat, like, stupid shit like that, when he really won that fight. And it was just that one moment that he popped right back up. Like he even put, the ref didn't even count. The ref didn't even start the count, because the ref would like turn around and send the other guy to his corner. And then he he did start counting, but by the time he started counting, he was already standing up.
Yeah, and even after the fight, when they showed the numbers, like it was a clear-cut win by Ocho Cinco. The only thing that would have given the win to Brian Maxwell if he would have knocked him out. That's the only way he would have won that. If there was going to be a decision made for that.
Which, if he was a more experienced fighter, he would know. 4th round, just don't get your ass knocked out.
Exactly, but for Brian Maxwell, that's a lot of work that you have to put in. The fact that Ocho Cinco was able to establish the jab on you and get so many more hits in than you were, and pretty much control the fight the first 3 rounds. Like, this is what you want to do professionally, bro. Like, you just let an NFL wide receiver who had 2 months to train to box for his very first time ever basically win a fight against you, like win a boxing match.
And I don't know how old Brian Maxwell is, but Chad Johnson is pushing 40 years old.
He is 10 years younger. So Ocho Cinco is 43. The dude is 33 years old.
Ocho Cinco's 43 already?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. When they were right before the fight, when they were showing the statistics of both of them, it was like 43 or 44 or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 43 years old. You're right. That actually does make sense. He's been retired for a minute.
Yeah, and even
43. Wow.
Even the reach on dude, like you could tell just based on the statistics, like he was going to be fine, and boy, he got it off. I was very surprised by what he was doing, and obviously you can tell too, like when he was like in the trenches with Brian Maxwell, like when he was really letting them fly. It was more so like a lot of a lot of like natural talent, a lot of natural skill. There wasn't too much
Like he
like
knew how to
technique.
throw a punch, you mean? Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
it wasn't a lot of technique behind it when he was really letting like the flurries off. But
Oh,
when he was establishing a jab and establishing his position in the ring and making sure that he was keeping up with the points as if there were judges, like that was really impressive.
okay. Yeah, it was a good little fight. The two fights after that one were pretty good. The real
Yeah,
boxing matches, but of course, what everybody was interested in seeing was Mayweather and Logan Paul. And I don't know about you, maybe in hindsight, my expectations were too high, but huge disappointment. I'm assuming you watched that one as well, right?
yeah. It was well. First, the fight that happened right before that. So the second fight, I didn't know anybody who was fighting in that. The second one, the dude Badu Jack, I knew who that was. I've seen him fight on like ESPN Saturday Night Fights before, and every time I've watched him fight, he wins. And I think the first time he knocked Buddy out. So I was excited for that one, and
Yeah, the dude
luckily
he was
he knocked.
fighting was like a guy they got like last minute.
Yeah, and he just like even before the fight, I could tell he was gonna win just because the guy that he was fighting, he just looked like real sloppy. He didn't look like he was like fight ready, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Did you see his shorts? They were just black shorts with his name on it and the Venezuelan
yeah,
flag. That's all. That's all he could get on short notice.
yeah. But for the Mayweather fight, honestly, I honestly think people had too high expectations for that
For
fight.
sure.
Like
What were your expectations?
that right there, exactly what happened. To be
So you
honest,
were
like
not surprised. You were like, that's it.
nah, I knew that was gonna happen, and you could tell that it was going to happen because of the way that Mayweather was like going about the interviews like beforehand
Leading
in the
up to it,
days
yeah. See, I
before.
didn't watch
Yeah,
enough of those.
he basically said like they were like, oh, so like being that you are undefeated, et cetera, like what do you think you're gonna be able to do in this fight? Being much older and all this stuff, and he was just like, it always just came down to like putting on a show. He just kept repeating the fact that he was gonna put on a show for the people and blah blah. At one point, he said something like, "Yeah, I could knock him out in the first round if I wanted to,
Yeah, I heard
but
that.
I want to put on a show." And then he said,
He made a comment. He was like, "Oh, it's a lose-lose situation for me because if I knock him out early, they're going to say that, the fight was too quick, and if I knock him out later, they're going to say that he hung with me for, however many rounds." But
exactly,
what I was expecting it to go almost like the McGregor fight. Now the McGregor fight he's obviously fighting a real fighter. He was younger. It was a sanctioned fight. It counted against his record.
yeah,
But I was expecting rounds 1 and 2. Floyd is feeling him out. Nothing is happening. Everyone's going to say, "Oh, Floyd's scared. Floyd's running," which they say for every Floyd Mayweather
every
fight that
time,
I've seen against Pacquiao, against Canelo, because he doesn't throw punches in like the first couple of rounds. Like he hardly does anything.
yeah,
And then I was thinking, so this was an 8-round fight. I was thinking in round 5 or 6, he was gonna turn it up consistently throughout after kind of taking it easy in 1 and 2. 3 and
mm-hmm.
4 he was going to start getting into it more. I thought 5 and 6 he was going to end the fight. I thought he was going to not knock him out, but do enough to where the ref was going to have to step in and stop it. And I thought it was going to be Floyd Mayweather did what he's supposed to. He won the fight, and Logan Paul didn't get knocked out. He hung with him for 5 or 6 rounds. I was not expecting it to go the distance. I thought it would be a TKO at least. I thought
Yeah,
Floyd would end the fight. But you got to remember he's same age as Ocho Cinco. I think a year older. He's 44 or 46, maybe whatever. Mid
yeah,
40s,
he's around there.
and he's not trying to. I don't know. I mean, he said it after the fight, and I guess he was saying it leading up to the fight. But he's like, "Yeah, I'm just here to have fun and make a shit ton of money," which he did. He did both.
Yeah, he said, what did he say? He called it legal bank robbery.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I feel him. I've been saying this because I've been watching like I said, I've been watching boxing since I can remember. And like the early Mayweather fights that I can remember, like, yeah, he was a little bit more exciting and he was, throwing a lot more punches and stuff. But at the end of the day, he was always a very, very smart fighter, and defense was his number one thing.
Yep.
So like I knew that was going to happen because his main thing really wasn't like he really had nothing to prove. Like everyone knows that he's going to win that fight. Obviously, there were some people who thought like, oh, maybe Logan Paul will get like a good shot at him and maybe knock him out. But, his main thing was really just protecting himself and not letting that happen. So I kind of expected it. He wasn't going to, go at him. And he actually did. And I peeped it live during the fight. And then the clip started coming out immediately after that he accidentally knocked him out. And he held him up until he woke up again.
Come on, man. He did not knock him out.
Bro, I swear.
I know exactly what video. I know exactly what you're talking about. He did not knock him out.
Bro,
he would not have been able to hold him up.
He at least would have dropped to the floor. At least would have dropped to the floor. It would have been a knockdown
possible.
At the very least.
That's like what we were talking about with Chad. Like if you get someone if they're stepping and you get them, they can fall over. Maybe that would have happened because he did hit him and then he fell into him. But I think that happens in boxing a lot.
But it was more so like when that happens, it's more so like the wrap up, and he was not wrapping up. It looked like Mayweather wrapped him up to like keep him standing up.
Yeah.
Because I think that's usually a factor in it also, especially with like an exhibition fight. The longer it goes, the more bread that, each of them get or whatever. So it is what it is. He did what he came to do. Mayweather just wanted to put on a show, and that for damn sure that's what he did. And it's like we said, I don't expect anything like exciting from Mayweather fights anymore, because to me, he calls himself the best ever. I think he's the smartest boxer that people have ever seen. Like when it comes to like the technical sport of boxing, he knows exactly what he has to do to win the fight. He doesn't care about nothing exciting happening.
Yeah, and I didn't mind that when he was a professional fighter and he was fighting against Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez, like those more recent fights. I didn't care that he was. I was impressed, but this one instance, I thought, man, like I don't even like because you saw what happened after. Then this kid is up there. Oh, I just went 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Like, Mayweather was in there like fucking around for 8 rounds. You were in there trying your hardest, and
exactly,
you didn't touch him. He killed you on the points. The fact that there's no winner, of course, him and his brother are like, claiming that he won the fight, or I mean, he technically didn't lose. That's you're not wrong about that. They obviously didn't win it. I mean, they can say it as much as they want, but technically didn't lose because he went the distance. The only way he could have lost was to get knocked out.
And my thing too is like they also need to understand, and what people need to understand when they try to bring up that argument, like, oh, like he went 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. Like, you guys are talking about a Floyd Mayweather who's like 6-7 years out of his professional career.
Yeah, not prime. Like just being able to fight professionally.
And that's not even his prime, because his prime was maybe like 5 years before he retired.
Yeah.
So, there's no like
realistically, his prime had to have been like 10 to 15 years ago. His prime.
Exactly. Anywhere from 10 to 15 years ago, when you add up the numbers, you're not even getting full form Floyd Mayweather. Like, you can't say that you went 8 rounds with one of the greatest boxers ever, because you didn't.
See that, but that's what bothers me about this situation, is that they are saying that, and technically he went 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. That's not a lie. And he is, one of the best ever. Yeah, you can say, well, now, and it's not the same. And you're absolutely right. But that's just what bothered me about the whole thing, was I wanted him to at least finish the fight. The kid could say, oh, I went 6 rounds and got knocked out. Fine. Mm-hmm. But he went 8 rounds. Like, Floyd couldn't finish the fight. And, again, just my expectations were too high. It is what it is. I'm not mad about it. I split the fight between 10 people, so I only threw 5 on it. So I don't care about it. That's not what I'm upset about. And to be honest, even if I paid the 50, it's not about the money. It's just, man, I was hoping Floyd could. I just don't like the non-boxer talking shit like, oh, I went 8
Yeah.
rounds with one of the best ever. Like, come on, like get real.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't like that shit either.
it's just annoying. But one thing that they were talking about on ESPN or whatever the next day, Fox Sports, was, I don't know how the inner workings of boxing, functions with like making fights happen. I know that there's promoters involved and people sometimes blame promoters for fights not happening or whatever, but I'm hoping, one thing that they said was this kind of shows that you can make fights happen without promoters. And I'm hoping that is what happens in the real sport of boxing, because that's what I want to watch, is the real boxers, good guys, fight each other. Like, I want to see Canelo Alvarez fighting, and I'm not a big boxing guy, so like I don't even know who I want Canelo Alvarez to fight, but I want him to fight someone who's gonna it's gonna be a good fight.
And that's where it becomes tricky now with boxing too, is because there's so many different weight classes that they've created and so many different belts that they've created. So it's like there's so many champions of different belts of different weight classes, and it's like some of the best boxers in the sport are just sectioned off to other things. So in order for them to fight like the best of the best, they'll have to like meet in the middle or find a new weight class to like meet at, for both parties to be happy with too. Which is why we really don't see those big fights anymore.
It seems like it's too much. Again, I don't know shit about anything when it comes to boxing and how like fights get made, but it seems like it's way too much negotiating. Like, I want to fight you, you want to fight me, we want to make money, we want to see who's the better. Like, it's a very simplistic point of view, but obviously there's other factors at play that, make it difficult or whatever. I love boxing. I love watching it. I'm a very casual fan, but it's just fun to watch. And I know all the hype is around MMA these days, but still I want boxing to be up there too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I was looking it up right now, and this is where it gets tricky with boxing. So there's the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO. So those are 4 different basically like organizations that form boxing. But then there's different weight classes within each one. So they kind of have to like meet and like determine which organization they're going to fight within, and then what weight class they're going to fight in. And then, then they have to discuss money and blah, 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 where they're going to fight and all this shit. So it's like, it's so much to where it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of work to even get these guys to come together and figure something out. And some of those like organizations, boxing organizations, and like the belts and stuff, some of them are so new. So it took them a while to be, to get big names under the organization. So now it's like, they pretty much all have full stacked rosters and shit like that. And it's just, bro, it's so much. It's so much. But I love boxing, and I hope they do fix it, and not fix it, but figure something out to the point where we can get boxing on a regular basis, like how UFC is like every weekend or every 2 weeks.
Bro, they've always got good fights. A couple weeks ago, when Masvidal fought Kamaru Usman, that whole card was like good fights.
Yeah, the card was ridiculous.
My cousin hit me up. He's like, Saturday, I'm ordering the UFC fight. I don't even know who's fighting, but I know if he's ordering it, it must be worth watching. Like there's always shit going on with the UFC. Like there's more pay-per-view events for UFC than I will ever be willing to pay for. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to watch all of them because it's just, that's how many they do. Would love for boxing to, be kind of not even all the way like that, but like every few months to like be able to watch like a really good boxing match would be a lot of fun.
Let me see. I'm looking at this right now. Oh, that is going to be a good card. Okay. So let me ask you,
but before we get into that UFC though, would you rather see YouTubers and social media people fighting? Like, do you want to see more of like Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather type fights? or do you want to see the YouTubers fighting amongst, themselves, or fighting, like non-boxers fighting non-boxers? Because we saw Jake Paul and Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
Jake Paul is supposed to fight Tyron Woodley, who he's a fighter. He's a former MMA, UFC guy. Come on, like that, he's got to like knock his ass out.
Yeah, has to.
But what do you think of these fights in general? Like, I mean, because this is like the way boxing is going now. It's like not even boxers fighting.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to say. I'd rather, if they're going to do something like that, then they can do that like within themselves. I don't like the mixing it in together. I didn't like the mixing of when Mayweather fought what's this guy?
McGregor?
Yeah, when he fought McGregor, because it's just like that's not a fair like meeting in the middle, because for McGregor, like now he's limited to just boxing.
Right. Because Mayweather would never fight him in the octagon.
Exactly. Mayweather knows better than to go into the octagon. He would never agree to do that because he's not multifaceted when it comes to fighting. He's only good at boxing. So I didn't like that. And I don't like the fact that they have like YouTubers or whoever it is, like trying to, I guess, prove themselves or like put on a show against like professional athletes. Like these people put like the blood, sweat, and tears into this shit. And then you guys just wake up one day, train for 6 months, and like, yeah, I think I want to fight Mayweather. Like, all right, bro.
Yeah, I think is bad for boxing, because that gives the impression that, this guy Logan Paul was even saying after the fight, anything is possible, whatever you believe in, all this bullshit. Like, it's almost like he's saying, yeah, Floyd Mayweather, who can't even read because he's dedicated his entire life to boxing, but here I am, I'm some YouTuber, and I'm fighting with him. Now, obviously, Floyd Mayweather is much smaller. He's much older. He's way past his prime. Floyd Mayweather even 5 years ago would have, whooped this guy's ass. But it's just like not a good look. Like, I don't think boxing as a sport wants its best fighters, regardless of what age they are, fighting social media personalities.
Yeah. No,
and calling that boxing, like putting it on the same level as like regular boxing matches.
Yeah, hell no. I don't like that at all. What I would like to see is, because I know Mike Tyson said that he does want to continue fighting, and I think he's trying to schedule a fight for like October time again. What I would like to see is like something like that for boxing, like how the NBA has like the big three for the retired players, and they can go and do that. I would like to see boxing kind of turn into that, because like I've said before, boxing is not as exciting because there's just not as many big names that like fight each other anymore. Like back in the day, it was, the big fights was like when Mayweather gets to fight Oscar De La Hoya, and that's, Oscar De La Hoya is on his way out and let's see what happens, or the Pacquiao fights and shit like that, or Canelo and Mayweather. Like those were always like the most, like the best fights, because those guys, obviously they have to build their way up to the belt and just go through like the whatever names within that weight class. But then when they finally get up there and they get that fight, now those two big names are going at it, and they're just like killing each other the whole time. And I think boxing needs something like that again. Obviously, it's going to be a lot slower of a fight, and it's probably only going to be like 3-4 round fights with those older guys. But fuck it, bro, it's something to watch. And for
when Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr., there was no knockouts. Like knockouts weren't legal. So
yeah, you weren't allowed to do that. And I guess it's just because of like the age
that
they're at. Like it's just not healthy for them to be able to knock each other out.
What do you think of? Go ahead before I ask you the next thing.
I was gonna say, I think it would just be good for people who like just like the technical sport of boxing, like how what's it like some of the older heads like just like the technical teams, and like the NBA, for example, teams that aren't like going crazy with 3-pointers and stuff, and they stick to the basics. And some people like that basketball. Obviously, it's to us it's kind of boring, but for the sport of boxing, like how it started, it was pretty much just boring. This guy's just trying to get hits in and trying to win the fight based off points. And then obviously it developed into something else when you have Mike Tyson knocking people out in the first round and first 30 seconds of fights. That's where the misconception of the sport became like, oh, I'm only going to watch to see somebody get knocked out.
Right. Yeah, no, to watch boxing, that's why people like MMA so much, is because
Yeah.
you have that more of a factor of like someone getting knocked out or their bones broken or choked out.
Hmm.
And even if it does go the distance, oftentimes in like UFC, when those fights go the distance, these guys have been beating the shit out of each other. Like there's no way,
Yeah.
there's not like a Floyd Mayweather equivalent in UFC. Like you have to get in there and fight and
Exactly.
throw punches and get hit. And um, I think that's why, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that's why it's popular, because people don't want to see guys for 30 minutes in there tagging the other guy to get points and trying to avoid getting hit. They want to
Hmm.
see I'll be honest, it's what I want to see when I'm watching. I wanted Floyd Mayweather knock this guy out.
Yeah. But that's that goes back to like how we were saying, all the flack that Mayweather used to get with his last few fights in his professional career. Yeah, everybody was always complaining and saying he lost. Where it's like, I mean, it was a boring fight. There was nothing exciting happening, but he made sure he won. He made sure to keep that record clean. And
And make those tens of millions of dollars too. It can't be mad at him for that.
exactly.
I'm
And,
certainly not.
and one thing that I think is not understood by a lot of um just casual watchers of the sport, which is nothing wrong with it, but you gotta keep a very, very good eye out on the fights, because people think when people are just throwing flurries on someone and they're just the guy is balled up, a lot of those punches don't count. The judges are only counting punches that are direct hits, even if it slides off the side of the head or something, does not count towards points whatsoever. So even if they're just mashing up somebody's gloves, unless it touches skull or
Yeah, it's
body,
got to be a hit.
it's nothing. So that's one thing too. When people were watching these fights, or even with the Ocho Cinco and Brian Maxwell fight, yeah, the dude was hitting him, but at the same time, Ocho Cinco was pretty much just closed up, and it was all hits to the arms or hits to the gloves, and it's bro, it's not going to do anything for him. If there was judges here, bro, that's not a single point that's being made. Or even with Logan Paul, the crowd is screaming when he's throwing flurries at Mayweather, but not a single one is being counted.
Yeah, that stupid exchange where he was just swinging wildly and not hitting anything.
Did you see the tweet about it? Somebody said they put the clip of that, and they said when you're new to the game and you're just mashing buttons.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. So what I was going to ask you was, there's another fight. I don't know when it is, but it's two social media guys. It's Austin McBroom and some other guy. I forget his name.
Yeah.
He's a TikToker, I think. Austin McBroom.
Yeah.
Austin McBroom
And somebody
is a
else.
YouTuber.
I don't remember
Dude,
his
he's
name.
fighting, I think, is a TikTok guy.
Yeah. It's because I remember the promo for it was YouTube versus TikTok. I think it's this Saturday.
Really? This Saturday?
I think it's this Saturday at Hard Rock too. I think so.
Let me see. I just look up Austin McBroom. I keep saying McGroom. Doesn't he have rape allegations against him?
I think so.
Austin McBroom fight. Jake Paul accuses Austin McBroom of infidelity in heated YouTubers feud. Bryce Hall is the other guy.
Yeah, Bryce Hall. And when is this fight? I'm pretty sure it's Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday. You're right, June 12th.
At the Hard.
But there's another.
There's going to be another.
There's UFC fights this. That's what my cousin was telling me about.
Mm-hmm. But there's already another one of these fights being promoted too. It's going to be a Triller event or something like that. And they're gonna have a fight with.
Hold on, these are all every fight on the card is YouTubers versus TikTokers.
Yeah, I think it's Battle of the Platforms or something they're calling it.
Yes, presented by Social Gloves. YouTubers versus TikTokers. Battle of the Gloves. Watch on live. Socialgloves.livexlive.com. So is this fight free or is it pay-per-view?
It's probably free, to be honest. I don't think anybody would pay for
Yeah, you
pay-per-view.
got me fucked up.
Yeah, I highly doubt that.
You're out of your mind.
That's
baseball? Why this shit was on a Sunday, right? The Mayweather fight was because NBA basketball was happening Saturday.
I honestly, I think so. Because my dad was pissed about that because he wanted to watch. He wanted to watch, and it didn't. What's the name? It's Sunday, and like obviously he's not gonna stay up to watch it, so he was kind of pissed.
It wasn't so late though.
No, honestly, they did a pretty good job, like with keeping it with keeping the whole show moving. I know at one point when the rain started, I think it was during the second fight, it was a little shaky, but they were able to fix that.
That was stupid. That was like, why are you fighting outdoors in Miami in June?
Yeah, honestly,
you are fighting outdoors in Miami during hurricane season. That's what they were doing.
Now they did have
they had the little cover up top.
Yeah, they had the cover over the actual ring, but like obviously if you're from Miami or you've lived in Miami for at least a year, like the rain comes down sideways. So that little cover
it rains sideways down here.
Yeah, like it doesn't do anything. That the whole shit is gonna be covered in water. So whatever. I think it was pretty stupid, but it is what it is. They maybe they know something we don't.
They should have done that shit at either Marlins Park, which probably tough to do because it's baseball season, or the American Airlines Arena, which they may not have done because, the possibility of the heat season still going on, which it's not. But yeah, that was stupid. Like, it's not like they had 70,000 people we're going to go watch this shit. So there was
but they also normally have fights at Hard Rock Casino too. Like that's
true.
The little where they have like concerts and stuff. They always change that around.
Yeah, that's what they do at.
Why they didn't just do it there?
That's what they do for most of the boxing and UFC fights. Is like MGM Grand in Las Vegas. It's not in a football stadium.
Yeah, I think so. That was like a mixture between first Mayweather trying to get like the max money out of the situation that he could, and then the Hard Rock Stadium just trying to make money off of the stadium, because I know that was like one thing with them spending all this money on building the stadium up, that they wanted to be able to convert and bring a lot more events to the stadium and whatever. So I know that was like a statement that went out at one point that they wanted a bunch of people in and whatever. So I don't know. I think it was pretty dumb though.
You gonna be watching this YouTuber's TikTok shit on Saturday?
Hell no. I'm not even gonna be here. I'm gonna be in New York, so definitely not watching that.
I don't know. I'm gonna be somewhere watching a fight. Might have to throw that up on the laptop.
It depends if I'm anywhere with the TV. I might just be on the block, and I might have to just check in on the stream on my phone every few minutes.
Oh man. All right. Enough of this bullshit boxing. Let's get into the sports that matter. NBA playoffs well underway. We're not going to talk about the Heat. They got swept.
Yeah,
it happens.
Honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. After game 2, I knew they were gonna get swept. Game 1, they put up a fight, and it looked like they were just missing shots. Game 2, they looked completely defeated. I knew it was over.
Yeah, I won't say that I knew they were gonna get swept after game 2, but after game 2, I was like, this is probably not going to go more than 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, I was capping it out on 5. There's no way it's going further than 5. Maybe they could sneak a game at home, but that was going to be it.
All right, getting back to the NBA. We had a slight pause there, but we're back at the NBA. I think we mentioned already that the Heat are eliminated. Can't even remember where we left off, but Heat are done. We don't need to talk about that. Actually, you know what? This is better for the Heat. Getting swept in the first round by Milwaukee a year after making it to the NBA Finals. Pat Riley knows what needs to be done. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
He got fined today like $25,000
for tampering.
For tampering by telling LeBron, or saying on nationally syndicated radio, that there's always a key under the mat for LeBron if he ever wants to come back.
Oh, that's what he got the fine for?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's what it was for. And then I know Heat Twitter is making like a huge push for Dame because Dame said that he's open to anything right now.
Damian Lillard has to leave Portland. He is never going to win anything there.
And they were saying that if we can't make the push for Damian Lillard, then we can make the push for the fuck is this guy's name? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. I can see his face. I know his fucking name from Portland also.
CJ McCollum?
Yeah, for CJ McCollum. So to try to see if we could make a push for either of those. I mean, and honestly, if we're gonna make a move for either of those, I'm pushing more for Dame. I'm going all out for Dame. We send the whole goddamn team out there for Dame because one thing that Damian Lillard's good at is closing out games. And that's really where our issue is closing out games. We don't have anybody who's willing to be like we
closing
have guys
out
who can
and taking over.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's taking over. Like Jimmy Butler has shown he's capable of doing it, but he's just like, especially this season, you can just tell like he's not that he's not built like that, is that he doesn't want to be like that, which is, I don't know, it's bananas to me, but
I think Jimmy Butler is capable of it when he's doing well, but he's not one of those guys that like consistently every night can be the number one guy. I think Jimmy Butler is the kind of guy that he can have his nights, but he can't be the guy every night.
Yeah.
He's going to rely on like someone else to do it. Otherwise they're going to lose, you know? He's not like a true number one in the sense that these other guys are.
I think Jimmy Butler is like a Klay Thompson. Like when needed to on a random night, he'll go crazy, but he can't lead a team to do anything. And that really showed this year. So I think Damian Lillard would be a nice piece to insert there because he's more than willing to do that. He's been doing that pretty much his whole career. He wants to be that guy, and he has a proven track record that he can do it and succeed at it. He just doesn't have enough around him. Even though he has CJ McCollum and they've gone through different centers and whatnot, he hasn't had enough around him, and he doesn't. In all honesty, I don't think Portland is that organization that's going to push him to the next level. So you know, if anybody's listening out there, Damian Lillard, I'm begging, I'm pleading, make the move, bro. Sign the papers, talk to who you need to talk to.
I think after the way this season went, Pat Riley knows that they need to make some serious moves. The team as it is right now with Bam and Jimmy as the number one and number two guys, and you can debate all day long about who's the number one and who's the number two. That team is not bringing you another championship. No. Plain and simple, they have to make some moves. Yeah. I think they're going to make those moves. I hope so. And you know who I hope is first one out the door? I'm not going to say it. You don't have to get into all that.
No, yeah, I got upset with the pictures that were posted this weekend. I'm not really a fan of that, so I'm not even gonna get into it. She's disrespectful, and he has no reason to do that, and that's probably why he played like that at the end of the season because he was too distracted with that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, what is it? 21 years old?
Oh my god, 21 years old.
She's almost 30.
And then
come on, have some sense.
Bro, and then he posted today like some golf thing that he was like practicing or like learning how to play golf with some guy in like Miami. And I'm looking through the comments for people to say like, boy, you need to, because he said something like the caption was like, oh, always trying to learn something new and blah, blah. Like, boy, you need to learn how to win a damn championship. You need to learn how to win some games, bro. Learn how to not get swept in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're not good enough at basketball to be starting to focus on golf.
No, bro, you just got in the NBA. Worry about that like your last 4 seasons or something like that. Not right now. You need to focus on, you need to be in the gym, putting up shots right now. So
100%.
I'm upset.
And that gym just might be in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, it might be. Hey, even if it's Melo Portland, send somebody over here, bro. Because Melo was going crazy this year too. I want it. I want whoever you guys can send us, as long as it's no one nasty. And the money's right. What else? Who's left? The Knicks with their playoffs push. They made it to game.
I meant to ask you, were you rooting for the Knicks? You had to have been because it was against Atlanta.
Definitely. Oh man, definitely. what did it go to game? It only went 5 games, right?
Yeah, they didn't really do anything.
Oh man. Oh, the games were so close. They were so close. They had so many chances. Oh, they got me. They broke my heart. I don't know whose heart is broken more, mine or Spike Lee. But I was sick. I didn't even care for the Knicks like that.
Once you knew that the Heat were out, were you rooting for who became your team? Was it the Knicks?
Definitely. I was rooting for the Knicks right away. I was like, you know what? This is it. Now every other team left in the East is a team that I don't rock with.
Brooklyn?
So, yeah, Brooklyn. You already know how I feel about Kevin Durant and who else is on this team now? James Harden. Good Lord.
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving, not so much. I really don't hate him that much. But James Harden and Kevin Durant, I have no nice things to say about them.
Milwaukee.
Don't like them. Milwaukee, after sweeping us, they can eat dirt. And honestly, I'm going for the Nets in this series. I never thought I would say that. I'm going for the Nets in the series because of what they did.
I got a good question for you. Forget about Nets and Milwaukee. Forget about Nets and Bucks. Philadelphia 76ers against Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. Who are you rooting for in that series?
I'm going for Philly. I already put money on Philly last game, and they won me some bread, bro. I hate Trae Young that much. I'm rooting for Philly. Honestly, and the team I picked now for the rest of the postseason, I'm rocking with the Suns. I'm going for Chris Paul and Devin Booker, bro.
I like that.
And DeAndre Ayton, bro, this guy has stepped up so much. He's the only reason why they won against the Lakers. I'll say it right now. He's the only reason because he's that piece that the Heat didn't have last year, which was a big man to sit down there and compete with their big men that they have. We didn't have that. So he is the, he's the difference on that team. And of course, the guy that we should have never let go away, Heat legend Jay Crowder.
Oof.
This guy was dunking last game. He's hitting the necessary clutch threes that we used to get last season. Like, bro, that team, they have to go all the way. They have to.
That was a good game.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's who my money's on to go all the way. And I was looking, they posted, I don't know who did it, but there was a tweet about who's left in the playoffs, the teams that are left in the playoffs. When is the last time that they won a championship?
Who?
All the teams. None of the teams that are left in the playoffs right now have won a championship in the last 20-something years or last 30-something years. Actually, it might have been 40.
No, I think the only team that's still in it that has won a championship is the Sixers and the Hawks.
Bro, it was something crazy. That it was like 1988 or something like that.
No. What team was Kenny? What team won the championship when Michael Jordan took his hiatus from basketball?
Oof, what was that?
94 and 95. No, they won in 96. Was it Atlanta? Wasn't it Kenny Smith and what team did Kenny Smith play for? No, that was Houston. I'm sorry. That was Houston. That was Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, it was the Rockets. I want to find the tweet because it had all the numbers on there. I don't remember what I did.
I'm pretty sure the Jazz have never won a championship. The Clippers have never won. The 76ers, obviously, way back in the day, have won.
Yeah, it was something where the closest team that has ever won, or the team out of the teams that have won championships before, I think the earliest or the soonest was 1988 or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't find the tweet right now, but if I do find it, that it was something like that, which is incredible. So now there's going to be some team that hasn't won in that many years to bring it home this year, which is exciting. So, like I said, my money's on the Suns. They're on a heater right now. Chris Paul is playing elite level basketball, like we haven't seen in a very long time. I think last year was that push where he got back to his juice. Obviously, he's never been bad, but you saw a little decline in his play. for the last few years, and now he's back to his sweet spot. Devin Booker is doing Devin Booker stuff, putting up 40 points a game when needed, and then DeAndre Ayton finally playing to his size. He's another one of those centers who was playing a little slow, a little soft early in his career, and this year he picked it up. So I'm excited. Do they play tonight, if I'm not mistaken?
The Suns, yeah.
Or they
the Suns
played last night.
Play the Nuggets tonight at 9:30.
Yeah, 9:30.
That's the only game tonight.
Yeah, so I am excited for that. You know where my money's at. Even though the Nuggets Nuggets are good, Jokic just won MVP. I don't care. I don't think that team has enough, especially with Jamal Murray being out. I think it's clipped there.
Yeah, I think the Suns are going to take that series. It's probably, in my opinion, going to be Suns against the Jazz. I mean, that game last night, Jazz and Clippers, was a pretty close game, but I think we'll get Suns and Jazz in the Western Conference Finals, the number 1 and 2 seeds playing against each other.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting. I think Brooklyn obviously is, the favorite to come out. But you know what? Brooklyn, Philadelphia might be an interesting series in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's going to be a spicy series because Joel Embiid really makes a difference for I really think they're going to put Embiid on Kevin Durant.
Really?
When possible.
You think he's quick enough to do that, on the perimeter?
I don't think he's quick enough, but he's strong enough and he has the height to match up with him. Yeah, to just be a pest to him. So I think that could be a good matchup. But then again, like you said, Kevin Durant's also just way too fast for him and could blow by him when needed. So that's gonna be a fun series to watch, definitely. I think for that Jazz and Clippers series, I really don't know. I'm not giving any because Paul George has really just been shit in the bed, bro. He played well in the regular season this year because he was trying to prove himself again. But now in the playoffs, he's I don't know. I have no idea what got into him again.
P.
Yeah, he's choking again. But Kawhi Leonard, as we saw last series against Dallas, he just wouldn't let up. When they were looking like they were about to get sent home, he pulled it off. So I don't know. That series is going to be a head scratcher for me. We're going to have to see what happens there.
We'll see. We will see. So tonight, Suns and Nuggets. Like we said, rooting for the Suns. Phoenix is actually a 5-point favorite, so they're looking pretty good there. I think after Atlanta stole in that crazy first game of the series against the Sixers, I think the Sixers are probably going to win in 5 or 6 games. I think it's a wrap, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think 5 or 6 is where it's going to be capped. Philly's going to win. I didn't expect them to win that. I didn't expect the Hawks to win that first game at all, especially being in Philly. It. Yeah, they almost blew it. And literally down to the last 5 seconds of the game, pretty much, Philly still had a chance to win it. And they're just came down to really just them not hitting free throws. I think at the end of the game, they said that Philly had missed 10 free throw attempts and they were only down by 4.
Yeah.
At that point. So it's just stupid shit like that you have to clean up. And the majority of it was on Ben Simmons as usual. So that's I think that's going to be a pretty easy series there for Philly.
Yeah, I think we're heading towards because the Nets are probably going to sweep Milwaukee because, the way the first 2 games have gone.
It's hard.
Although I'm looking at ESPN right now and it says Milwaukee's a 3.5-point favorite in the game tomorrow, Thursday, against the Nets. I understand it's a home game for Milwaukee, but
I was going to say that's it literally might just be because it's in Milwaukee. I still think that the Nets they have had 0 issues so far.
Yeah, I was going to say they smoked them in the first 2 games.
I was going to say, I think the second game they won by almost 40 points. I don't see how there's going to be an issue there.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. That game was on Monday. Yeah, they won they won by 39 points.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a sweep. They're going to get swept just like they did to us, and that's it.
That'll be all. So we're going to see in the Eastern Conference Finals most likely Brooklyn and Philly, That'll be a good series. And I think in the West, it's either going to be Denver or Phoenix against the Jazz. Probably going to be, like we said, 1 and 2. Phoenix against Utah. I think those are both good conference final series. And then whoever makes it out of, I think we're on pace for good conference finals matchups and a good finals matchup.
Yeah, facts.
With teams that have not won, no LeBron, no team that has been in there recently. I think it's pretty exciting, honestly.
What I was talking about this past weekend is that just goes to show you that this season really might be the fluke season, whereas everybody was saying last year was the fluke season, because as you see, all the top teams from last year and all the teams that really made it far in the playoffs and made it to the finals, obviously all got knocked out pretty much in the first round.
Yeah, isn't it the Western Conference Finals teams and the Eastern Conference Final teams are all out?
Yeah.
The Lakers are out, the Heat are out, the Celtics are out. Who was the other team in the West?
It was I'm pulling it up right now. Western Conference.
I don't even remember.
Finals 2020. It was Lakers and Nuggets. So Nuggets are still there.
Yeah, Nuggets might still make it.
Yeah, but that's the only team left that made it that far. And like I said, Jamal Murray is hurt for the rest of the season. So it had a big impact on them too. And that might be the reason why they fall to the Suns now, is because the limited offseason for those teams, now you're kind of just stuck, and you guys are this is really where you guys are starting to get hot normally at this point in the process. And you guys started off a little too early, and a lot of guys are injured, and you went through all those issues early in the season and whatever. So I think this season is just a little weird, especially even the Warriors not even making it into the playoffs. It's just a really weird season. Nobody could have guessed this happening. And it's, at least in my opinion, that's the reason for it. It's just that short off season.
So to that note, LeBron posted some shit about Gladiator and being back, whatever. Do you think that, it's a little late in the game for LeBron to kind of be talking about he's going to make a comeback and all this shit?
Bro, even him changing his number to number 6, and now everybody's showing Heat highlights and all that stuff. Bro, that was how many years ago? That was almost 10 years ago already. You're not that same player anymore. You don't have that same spark. Yeah, obviously you're still one of the greatest players in the league 10 years later. Yeah, but you're not going to be able to pull off some of those moves that you were pulling off then and be able to carry the team by yourself. As you saw this year with Anthony Davis being out as many games, or, a decent amount of games, and Anthony Davis really not making any noise in the playoffs, except for one game, LeBron can't do it by himself anymore. Or, he never really did it by himself, but, he can't take over a game like he used to be able to.
Do you think it's the beginning of the end for LeBron?
Think so. Unfortunately, it sucks because now we have to wait for a new guy to fill those shoes. And there's nobody in the league right now that even looks like they're going to be at that level.
I was going to say, so there was obviously Michael Jordan from, early in his career. He retired in 98. Maybe there was a period from when he retired up until LeBron came in, unless you're going to put Kobe at that moment, as kind of
Jordan,
carrying.
Jordan came back. And when he was on what year? Because Jordan retired. Remember, he fake retired 98 again. And then he retired 03. Finally, was 03 with the Wizards. And that was the draft class with LeBron, was the 03.
Yeah, so, but Michael Jordan on the Wizards doesn't count, and there was 2 or 3 years that he wasn't playing. That's what I'm saying. There was a period after Jordan retired in 98 where who was the guy in the league? Right now, it's still LeBron. LeBron is the guy in the league, and
at that point, it was Allen Iverson. Pretty much, Allen Iverson was the guy in the league, but
that's true.
Couldn't win anything.
That's a good point.
what was it? Kobe was playing obviously too, but that was that year. 01 was the Philly and what's the name? Philly and Lakers finals. So it was those two guys who were pretty much like up there to be the next one. And then you had like the battle between LeBron and Kobe all those years and shit. But I don't know. There's nobody right now that's even like projected to come into the league that's like at that level.
If LeBron retired today, who is? I guess it's Kevin Durant at that point.
Yeah, but I don't even see Kevin Durant like that. Like, yeah, he hits shots. Yeah, he's a high scorer.
Yeah. Why don't we see Kevin Durant like that? Like, I don't either, but I don't know why. He's better than LeBron right now too.
He just doesn't like. It's something about him, bro. Like, he just doesn't have it. It's like the same reason why
he didn't have the it factor.
Yeah, it's like the same reason why. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how to put it into words, but like. He just doesn't have it, and I don't know what it is. It's just something special. And Kevin Durant just doesn't have it. I don't know. Who would be the next one? Honestly, I really couldn't tell you. I know there's a lot of very, very talented players in the NBA. A lot more, or a lot like there's a bigger number of very, very, very talented players in the NBA than there was during that break that we didn't have anyone like that.
Yeah, that I agree with.
Because even for like the Nuggets, for example, like Jokic is their number one guy, but then their star point guard is Jamal Murray. Then they have Michael Porter Jr. coming off the bench, and you know what I'm saying. And that guy would be elite on any other team, and he's taking over the game when he's given the opportunities. You still have Melo performing at a level where like it just doesn't make sense, like on some LeBron shit. So I don't know, bro. I don't know who could even take that place. Because there's even rookies that are going crazy right now too, like how we saw with LaMelo Ball, and bro, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't call it.
It'll be interesting to see. I hate to cut this short, but I just got an invite to go play some ball. Speaking of basketball,
fire.
Might have to run out of here.
What was the last thing I wanted to say? Oh, there it goes. Last thing I wanted to say. So there's some awards that haven't been given out yet. But as of today, we have obviously MVP, like we said, Jokic. No decision yet on the Rookie of the Year. The finalists are LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards of the Timberwolves, and Tyrese Halliburton. Defensive Player of the Year, not decided yet, which I don't want any of the three players to win, but obviously it's not how the world works. So it's either going to be between Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, or Ben Simmons. What do we have? The finalists for six man, Jordan Clarkson won. Most Improved Player, Julius Randle. And Coach of the Year, Tom Thibodeau. And I'm happy with that. What he was able to do with the Knicks this year was pretty impressive, even though it's.
What about Nate McMillan Nate McMillan, Monty Williams with the Suns, excuse me.
Monty Williams went crazy. I would even make the argument for Nate McMillan also to be able to come into this, come into the Hawks team who hasn't done anything in the last few years really, and bring them this far into the playoffs. Like, that's very impressive to change it around. And he's only been there since like March, like mid-March.
Are people hot that Monty Williams isn't Coach of the Year? Like, what's the reaction there?
I haven't seen anything with it just because of the buzz that the Knicks had, to be honest. Like, the Knicks
people are
really
okay
made a
with
turnaround.
Thibodeau. I mean, I'm sure Monty Williams doesn't give a shit. He's like probably going to be playing in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
very
saying.
Possibly the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I don't think that that's even something that they're worried about right now, to be honest, just because of that, because they really might end up making it to the finals. So that's not even a worry. And like I said, Nate McMillan, Monty Williams, I would make an argument for those two. Who's the other one that was in the Quinn Snyder, the coach of the Jazz? I mean, I really don't give that to him. I think the Jazz, the players on that team are what make the difference. He's not
right,
really
and they've been like decent for a while.
Yeah, so I think those three should have been the finalists, but I'm happy with Tom Thibodeau winning the award. He made a big, bro. I mean, he brought playoff basketball back to the Garden for the first time in like 8 years. So that's definitely something that's deserved on his end, even though that is basically just a new version of the Bulls back in the day. But, I'll give it to him. The boy got Derrick Rose. He has, what's this guy's name? Fucking bald, light-skinned dude. Oh, my God. I almost choked on my drink. What's this guy's name?
Bald, light-skinned dude from who?
He's on the Knicks. He used to be on the Bulls with
Taj
Derrick
Gibson?
Rose. Taj Gibson. There you go. Look at that. Tom Thibodeau knows how to do. He knows how to do one thing, bro. He knows how to coach Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson, and that's where they got to where they got. And obviously Julius Randle made a huge difference, having literally the best season of his entire career.
Well, hats off to Tom Thibodeau,
Facts.
owner of Dimsdale Thibodeau. No, I'm playing. I'm about to go play some real basketball right now. Some real deal basketball.
Damn, I haven't played ball in a minute.
Actually, yeah, you were supposed to be out there that one day. I was there that night.
Yeah, I know. I got caught up doing some stuff.
I ran one game with the real guys, and then I went over to my side. I was like, all right, too good over here.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard they were very impressed that you were able to keep up. They said that everybody else over there was looking a little spooky.
I only played one game and I didn't do shit that game, so I don't know. Maybe if I got a better flow.
Thanks.
But I was like, damn, you know what? I'm gonna go over here where I'm like, the number 1 or 2 guy, depending on what team I'm on.
Gee. Nah, I'll probably be back at it next week for ball.
I'm trying to play like, at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, that's where I was. I haven't played in like 2 weeks though. Like 2-3 weeks actually.
I got new shoes and everything, so like I'm trying to, be out there.
Yeah, I got those new LeBrons a few weeks ago. So
I got the space hippies, the ones that are made out of like recycled shit.
Are they good? Like, are they comfortable for ball?
They're all right. I don't know if they're so comfortable, but they're very sturdy. I'll say that. Comfort, I think I either need to double sock it or I need to get like the insole. Because in the old LeBron lows that I had the insole you buy at the shoe store.
Yeah.
They're not very comfortable, like, to be honest. And they're like the way that I tie them, so I tied them like tight, like to like the top lace hole.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of dig into my ankle a little bit. But if I don't tie them that tight, then I feel like they're loose. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to roll my ankle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they're kind of like lows. They're not like super low like Kobe's, but they're not mids either.
Yeah, it's like a weird in between. Yeah. I know with the LeBrons, the problem I'm having, it's not that it's an uncomfortable shoe, is that there's so much padding in there. And like I'm flat-footed and there's a huge, huge arch on the shoe. So like when I'm done playing ball by the end of the night, bro, my foot is like super sore.
Yeah,
it kills me.
When I play, like my ankles hurt. Like I didn't get crossed or nothing. I didn't roll my ankles, but like they're sore. Like I feel like I just got to get my ankles used to playing in shoes.
It's probably just because it's not as much support as you're used to on, like when you're playing ball.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for this episode. Let's do another one next week with Jason. Get back on track.
Sir. Facts.
But until then, we'll have plenty to talk about with a lot of NBA playoff games happening between now and next week. So we'll be back and, like always, stay wavy.
Here.